This thing just climbs hills like there is no tomorrow. It does a really good job. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're going to be going over the all-new 2022 Nissan Frontier Pro-4X. With all that being said, let's get straight into the video. So under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 3.8 liter V6 that goes through a 9-speed automatic transmission. In terms of fuel economy, it's good for 17 around town and then 22 on the highway, with power outputs being 310 horsepower and then 281 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go to the front end of the Frontier Pro-4X. First off, I absolutely love this green color. It looks fantastic. Now coming down below, we've got these full LED lights with the LED accent lights above and below. And notice the orange accent lights on top of that. And then we've got the LED fog lights. Sorry about all the mud. I took it off-road. Notice that we've got the whole blacked out grille with the orange Nissan logo, and then you've got a camera right there at the bottom of the logo. And then down below here, we've got the skid plate. We do have the tow hooks as well. And again, it's all covered in mud, but yeah, looks really good and aggressive. And overall, this just looks fantastic from a front end perspective. Now coming around the side here, we've got two 65mm tires wrapped around 17-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And then as for the design on the wheels, I think they look absolutely fantastic. Now I understand that these aren't real, but it still looks cool from an aesthetic perspective. We've got the Bilstein shocks, and then you can see just how aggressive the tires are. We've got these gigantic fender flares, and then notice we've got the camera there at the bottom of the mirror. And then here's kind of your full side view on the Pro-4X. And then we'll quickly pop here to the rear so you guys can see everything. Still have the leaf springs there in the back, and well, tons of mud, but yeah, also Pro-4X logo. So popping here into the rear, first off, we've got a payload of 1,020 pounds with this particular Pro-4X. And then notice we've got the covering here on the back part of the tailgate, and then we have a spray-in liner from the factory. We've got the power outlet here in the back, and then notice we've got the cargo tie-down hooks right there. And I guess that I dislodged one when I was off-roading, but anyways, we've got the cargo light there at the top, and then we've got these new LED bed lights on top of that. Definitely a nice feature, and well, that's all for the bed. Let's finish things up here with the rear of the Pro-4X. First off, we've got these beautiful LED lights. I love the dark accenting there around the lights. They definitely look nice from a design perspective. Frontier logo with our Nissan logo, and then our Pro-4X badge. And then notice we've got parking sensors here on the bottom portion. And guess what? We don't have a receiver hitch, but obviously this one is just a demo vehicle. But if you're wondering, max towing capacity is over 6,000 pounds with the new Frontier. And wait for it, got the exhaust tip sticking out the back. Now popping here into the interior, notice that we've got nice leather here on the door panel, and then just down below where you're going to rest your arm, and then you've got the blacked out stitching. And then coming to the seats, we've got these full leather seats. I definitely love the design with the stitching they have there at the top, and then you've got the lines down the center. And then let's pop in. So if you guys are wondering, 6 foot tall, you can see the legroom. Headroom, I actually fit back here. And then notice we've got some USBs, and then we actually get a full power outlet in the back as well, which is definitely nice. Then we've got some cup holders down here, and let's head to the front. Let's go over the door panel here at the front. So again, we've got the beautiful leather trim here, and then just down below with the stitching that goes across all of our window controls, the mirror adjustment. I actually like this trim piece right here. It's kind of random, but I like it. Got the Fender sound system, and then here are the seats at the front, and there's something really cool with the front seats. So you got the same design, got the Pro-4X logo, and then notice how they made the leather look like carbon fiber trim there. I think that's, I don't know, cool design detail. They are power adjustable. Frontier Pro-4X rubber floor mats. There's the pedals down below. Obviously, it's super dirty from the off-roading. We've got the axle lock in the back, stability control, hill descent control. That's for the cargo lamp. That's for the safety tech. That's for the outlet in the bed. We've got our towing mode, and there's one more look before you pop in. Here is the steering wheel with the Frontier Pro-4X. So first off, notice we got the leather trim all around the steering wheel, and it does come with adaptive cruise control. We've got our voice command volume controls on the other side, and then this is for the radio. We've got the stock for the lights and the turn signal, windshield wiper stock, and that's all for the steering wheel. Now here's a center gauge cluster with the Pro 4X. Notice that the gauges have the red accent, which I think looks absolutely fantastic. Got that screen there in the center. We have it on the off-road status, so it lets us know exactly what's happening. Again, we've got that tow mode. It'll pop up there below that one tachometer saying tow on it, and then you can turn off the stability control. And you guys will notice you got the diff lock, and that'll pop on right there where it says diff lock. It'll blink off because, well, I have the vehicle in two-wheel drive. You can only be in the diff lock when you're in the four-wheel drive, and so it'll just continue to blink, basically saying, hey, get into four-wheel drive, idiot. But anyways, as for the rest of the center stack right there, there's a few different menus that you can actually scroll through to see different bits of information here on the Frontier. So similar to Nissan's other models, and I think it's pretty decent getting 16 miles per gallon, considering the fact that I have been flooring it at every single point I get, and then also took it off-road. So yeah, that's all for the gauge cluster. Here's the center infotainment system. First off, we're going to pop it into reverse. So notice we've got that bird's eye view. We've got the backup camera with trajectory lines that do turn with the steering wheel. But have no fear, we also have a front camera as well. And it also has trajectory lines. Now, the thing that I guess is a little bit of a downside of the front camera is it goes off at 6 miles an hour. I wish that the mile limit was a little bit higher. But, you know, it is what it is. And other than that, notice we got the side camera as well, so all the cameras you need for off-roading. Now, as for the rest, the infotainment system response time on the screen is absolutely fantastic. So it's just like any other great modern infotainment system, and it comes with, well, built-in navigation as well. You guys can see we're up here in the, I guess I'll just call it the Park City area, because that's kind of what I know it's as. But yeah, other than that, I mean, it's really easy to use. You actually do have Apple CarPlay with this as well. You do have to plug your phone in, but it's still cool that it has that feature, and that's all. We've got our dual zone climate controls just down here in this area, and then this also does come with heated seats and a heated steering wheel. That's for the parking sensors right there, and then we have this little charging area. And then this is the drive line select. So we've got our two-wheel drive, four-wheel high, and then our four-wheel low as well. And then we've got the shifter here for that 9-speed automatic. It does have a manual shift function if you want to shift the gears yourself. And then we have a wireless phone charger. Works great. It actually holds your phone in place because of this material and also how it's angled. So even when you're driving, accelerating, all that, your phone doesn't fly all over the place. Definitely a huge plus in my opinion. Got the center console here, which pretty normal for a mid-size truck. And then notice we've got really nice leather here on the dash with the stitching. And then you've got the glove box right there, pretty normal. And then I like this trim over here. That looks good. Overall, definitely has a nice rugged design, and everything feels durable in this truck, which, I mean, I want that. Got the sunroof there at the top. And then you guys are probably wondering about the rear window. Well, it's manually upperable, so yeah. If you're watching this part of the video, this means that I have posted this after the embargo, so you guys can see the price. There's your base MSRP with the Pro 4X, $37,000. And then notice that we've got all the equipment, so if you guys want to read what this comes with, then feel free to do that. And then we've got a few different packages: Tech Package, Pro Convenience Package, and then we've got our Pro Premium Package. 3 different packages. Total MSRP, $44,315. Not too shabby. Let's take it out and see how it drives. Let's talk about visibility here with the Frontier Pro 4X before we set off. There's your visibility over the hood. Both the mirrors, they do have blind spot monitoring, and then the rest of the rear, and let's set off. Now this is the short driving clip I'm going to include in the full review with the new Frontier Pro 4X. Obviously had to wait for the embargo, but I just want to talk about how this truck drives off-road. It actually does a really good job. So obviously I released that video that was me not talking whatsoever, and it was just me driving. If you guys are wondering, 4-wheel drive, low, axle locked, and this thing just climbs hills like there is no tomorrow. It does a really good job. And then the front camera definitely helps out quite a bit. Now the thing I will say is the front camera goes off at like 6 miles an hour, which I understand why they do that for safety reasons, but at the same time, most time when you're crawling through trails, you're going to be going, yeah, maybe 6 miles an hour, but usually 10, sometimes 15 miles an hour, depending on how tight the trail is. And so I wish that that camera would turn off at a higher speed, you know, maybe 20, 25 miles an hour. Obviously the Frontier is really small with the size, and so maneuvering and everything super easy, turning it, all that stuff really easy, and it does really good off-road actually. We'll do a little bit of talking right here again for the Frontier driving review, the off-road portion of the driving review, and it actually does a pretty good job with basically soaking everything up. You guys can see this is kind of a higher speed trail. Most of the stuff up to this point was pretty much just low speed, not really crawling, but just climbing, right? And yeah, like I said, these shocks definitely absorb everything really well. You guys know that I had that Nissan Titan Pro 4X for a week, and I took that off-road out at 5 Mile. This feels very similar to the Pro 4X. Like, it's baby, or the Titan Pro 4X. It just feels like a baby Titan Pro 4X, which is not a bad thing. But obviously the benefits of the Frontier is it's smaller, it's lighter, turn-in's better. And so I guess what I'd have to say is it just overall feels better off-road compared to the Titan Pro 4X. But obviously it doesn't have the same power and that sound that you get from the V8, but this engine is more than enough for off-road use. Let's talk about how this new Nissan Frontier Pro 4X drives on road. And I think this twisty road's actually a pretty good road to talk about the truck. So first off, we had a little bit of a highway drive, and it was actually really quiet, really nice. They've actually improved the insulation with the truck overall, so it definitely gives you a nice experience at higher speeds. And then at lower speeds like this, where you're on some windy roads, the truck's still lightweight, still small, actually handles great. Yes, it's a pickup truck, so it still drives like a pickup truck, but it's a great handling pickup truck. And you guys saw that with the off-road trails as well. Now, aside from that, in terms of the tire noise, it's actually pretty minimal. Now, the tires in this aren't super aggressive. Obviously, they can handle off-road terrain, but they're not crazy aggressive, and so they're actually pretty quiet on-road and off-road as well. But yeah, these shocks are great. It just drives really smooth, and it's just really quiet. And we'll get up here in a little bit, and then I'll kind of get you guys an acceleration from a standstill. This will be our acceleration test. And also I've got the GPS on, if you guys are wondering. Yeah, that 9-speed is quick. Super quick with the gear shifts. And I mean, you guys got to remember, up here where we're at, we're actually at about like 7,000 feet elevation roughly. And yeah, even though this is a naturally aspirated engine, it actually does a really good job. And then this kind of shows you with the suspension, the handling, because this road has all that up and down motion. But yeah, that engine is strong for a mid-sized truck. I will say that. Good torque, good power. And if you're obviously not at elevation this high, then it'll feel even peppier. Yeah, see how it does over this. Yeah, it does a really good job. Super impressed with that. Well, let's get into summing things up here with the Nissan Frontier Pro 4X. So first off, exterior wise, I think it's a really good looking truck. It doesn't really have a bad angle. Interior wise, the seats are very comfortable. The bolsters are really wide, so if you're a bigger person, you'll be able to fit in them perfectly fine. And they still hold you in place pretty well. Most of the touch points are really nice. Definitely has that rugged feel similar to the Titan Pro 4X. And then aside from that, from a driving perspective, does really good on road, very smooth, and then off road it's pretty capable. I was a little bit worried because the truck doesn't have the most aggressive tires, right? But, and sorry about the GPS, it does such a good job off road. I mean, we climbed up a whole mountain with this, and you guys hopefully have seen the raw footage earlier where I basically didn't do any talking, obviously because of the embargo, and just drove straight up the mountain. It just does a phenomenal job. And so if you're looking for a fun mid-size off-road truck that actually has really good power, then the new Frontier, definitely an option to go for. And considering the price, it is just super competitive. Like it's super reasonable. So yeah, that's everything for the new Frontier Pro 4X, and I guess we'll floor it. Woo! That's going to sum things up for our video on the 2022 Nissan Frontier Pro 4X, and yeah, really exciting truck. I'll see you guys in the next video.